Thanks for checking out the Consignment Store plugin for WooCommerce from Charlene's Web Services. As the name suggests, this plugin requires WooCommerce to work. The Consignment Store plugin for WooCommerce creates a form on your website that your staff and the general public can use to add items to your WooCommerce store. If a WordPress administrator is using the form, then they must enter a unique SKU for the item, and that's what's going to be used on your WooCommerce store. When an item is added by an administrator, it is immediately added to your store. When the general public uses your form, the item is saved as a submitted item for your review. It is not added to the store just yet. And if you have set up email on your WordPress site, then you're going to get notified of the new submitted item. So let's go ahead and see how to set up this form. So it's really straightforward. You just create a new page in WordPress and then add the shortcode, which is add item form. So let's go ahead and add it right here. So it's going to be add item form. Give yourself a title. Oops, spell it properly. And you're done. So what happens when somebody submits an item to your site? Let's just pretend we're not an administrator. So I'm going to just add something. So this is the retail price is what they would enter for if this item was brand new, and then what they think it should sell for in the store. Typically, you would split the sale price 50-50 in a consignment store. So the seller would be getting half of that. They can enter some details like size, color, the state of the item, and add up to 4 pictures. Let's just do one here. Note that the images actually get resized on the person's device before being uploaded, which is kind of nice. So I'm just going to put this in, and I accept the store policy. You can click on it to see what it was. Okay, so now it's being submitted. And this is when we'll go to the back end and look at submitted items. On activation of the plugin, this menu item is added to your WordPress backend. If you want to see the documentation for the plugin, just click on documentation, and there's a little flow chart kind of showing what happens when somebody submits an item as a member of the general public or as an administrator. So what we want to do is just go to submitted items and either approve or reject. So remember, this is from somebody who's not an administrator. So when you click on approve, reject, it'll bring up all the photos that the person submitted, give you the description, and then you have the option of approving or rejecting. If you approve, you can review the store split. You must enter a unique SKU, and you can decide whether or not you want to send an email to the submitter. Here's their email address, and you can review the content of the email and add any comments that would be just saved with the item. So that's it for submitted. As soon as you do that, it's actually added to the store, and in this case an email was sent. But let's say you don't like the looks of the item, so you would click reject, and again you can select whether or not you want to send them an email. But note that if you reject an item, it will be deleted from the database, and all its associated images will be deleted from your media library as well. Also in the back end, you can look at the master inventory. So this is everything that has been submitted to the store that hasn't been rejected. So it'll show you the date it was added or submitted, all about the seller, as many images as they have, description, including the price, color, etc., and its SKU, if it's being accepted into the store, and its status. So this one is in store and in stock. This one was just submitted but is not yet in the store. This one sold for $1. So that's what you can do to keep track of your master inventory. In payouts, this is to manage your payments to the seller. So after an item has been sold and it's time to settle up, you can manage the payment. Basically, it gives you the info of what it sold for, what the store split was that you agreed to, and then you can enter your actual payment and save it. And then it'll be removed from the filter of unpaid, but you can still see the item and review your payments. In the settings, you can have control over how your form is used on the front end of the site. So these categories are ones that you would have added through WooCommerce, product categories, and then you can, by default, all of them will be selected for your form. And just to show you what I mean, this category drop down is what I'm talking about. So by default, all of them will appear, but you can choose to exclude some if it doesn't make sense to have them in your consignment store. The store policy, remember we saw that on the form as well, that you can show a policy and request that people agree to it. So this is where you would either select not to have a store policy on your form or to modify it. You can choose which store splits are on your items. So by default, it's 50-50. Some places have donated items, in which case the store keeps everything. Those are the only options currently available. You can select whether or not to have reCAPTCHA on your site, and by entering a site key and a secret, it's automatically added. And then for emails, you can just enter what email address you want emails sent from and sent to for notifications. Thank you for installing the plugin and for watching this video. If you need any help, first look at the documentation in the plugin backend. Next, you can look at support issues on WordPress.org for this plugin. And if you still can't find a solution, then open a support ticket through WordPress.org. And if you have suggestions for more plugins you'd like to see from Charlene's Web, please submit us a support item. I wish you great success with your consignment store.